Yo, what's going on, your boy Ghost here. Today I am bringing you guys another comparison video between the Ram and Amax. Now I know I made a lot of comparisons on the Amax recently, but I mean, listen, the conversation for the best AR is just getting spiced up, and I figured it was necessary to be making all these comparisons. I can't guarantee you guys though that the next video won't be another Amax comparison between another AR. I think I still need to do one more AR, but I'm not sure if I want to hold off on that. We have to wait and see, because there's still other things that I want to make. And I'm running out of time for this season. I still want to make some certain videos before the end of the season, and in 2 weeks we have a new season, so we just have to grind out content. So with that being said, if you're new to the channel and don't want to miss out on all that juicy content that's supposed to come out, make sure to hit that sub button. We're on the road to 2K. We're less than 300 subs away, so if you guys could hit that sub button, that'd be very appreciated. And yeah, man, also if you find this video informative and enjoyable, please hit the like button. Let's aim for 15 likes. I think we managed to hit that on the last video, so I'm very thankful for that. So let's see if we can go back to back. But yeah, man, with that being said, let's get into the comparison. And here we have the recoil pattern for the Ram, which as you can see gets kind of crazy towards the, I guess, middle point of the recoil pattern. Then it just starts going straight left. But actually, surprisingly, this gun has pretty much no recoil. Very easy to control. Definitely a lot more easy to control than the Amax. And I guess maybe that's why some people are leaning towards this gun or considering this to be one of the best ARs, or if not the best AR. Also, from what I've been told in my comment section, this gun has one of the highest time to kills in the game at the moment. And even back then, like season 5, 6, or just when the gun was in the game, this was widely known as one of the highest time to kill guns in the game, and it was like an underrated weapon. It never truly got the spotlight in the meta though. Like it always had a side, it was kind of like a side character, like it was one of those guns that was always underrated, but it was always pretty good. And I remember like around the Kilo meta, that's when it kind of started to get some traction, because people like Tfue and Symphony were using this gun religiously. And even now, I think one of the biggest reasons why this gun has made like another surge in usage is because Tfue came back to the game, started using it, and a lot of other, specifically mouse and keyboard players, started to just main this gun, because this gun on mouse and keyboard is deadly. And I think like this gun is more suited for those mouse and keyboard players than it is for control players. Don't get me wrong, as a control player I feel like I could use it, but I think there's better options. Mouse and keyboard though, with this gun, is literally a glitch. If you ever seen a mouse and keyboard player who's extremely good use this gun, the recoil with this gun is non-existent. And on top of that, if you mount, you guys already know what happens when you mount. It literally erases the recoil. Zero recoil when you mount. And PC players just abuse that, or not PC players, mouse and keyboard players abuse that and make this gun just seem like a monster. And to be honest, I gotta be like, I gotta be 100% honest. I can't replicate what they do. So like, this gun is good. It feels really good in my hands, but like, to me, it's not the best AR because I can't replicate what they do. And so again, it falls in the same situation as the Farah, where it's kind of like it requires some skill to fully unlock its potential. It doesn't have as big enough skill gap as like the Farah. I think the Farah has a pretty big skill gap to make it 100% efficient. Like I think the Ram requires a little bit less skill than the Amax, but it's still like to fully reach that 100%, it requires quite a bit of skill. But when it comes to recoil and all that, like it's easy to control. I think the damage makes up for it. It's like, to me, kind of a better version of an M13. Just a little bit slightly harder to control sometimes, because sometimes I find myself losing control at ranges. I don't know if some people share that same experience, but at ranges I seem to at times lose control and I start going all over the place. But if I'm hitting my shots 100%, this gun really does feel like a juiced up M13. The more that I started using it, the more that I started connecting the dots, like it just, to me, feels like a more juiced up M13. Some people might disagree with me on that. That's okay. There could be a lot of reasons for that. But again, like the Ram, I could see now it coming out of the shadows and why it's being considered by some the best AR, or at least a top 3 AR. And I mentioned this in my last video where I couldn't really give a specific top 3 right now at the moment, because I still need to try out a lot more ARs. But just like with the Farah and how I could see it being the #1, I could definitely see how this specific gun could be considered the best AR in the game. I wouldn't say I don't agree with it, but I still would prefer the Amax over it for various reasons that we're going to cover shortly. So yeah, man, with that being said, let's get into the Amax. I never had the recoil pattern for the Amax, which by this, surprisingly, you know, you would feel like the Amax has less recoil than the Ram because, you know, it looks more straightforward, but we already know that's not the case. This gun, but considered by many, has like pretty crazy recoil at times, and you know, again, makes people steer away from it because some people just can't handle the recoil, and it just makes them feel like they can't fully capitalize on a powerful weapon such as the Amax. But to be honest, I feel like both of these guns, or to me, at one point the Ram felt like it was kind of hard to control, and that's what made me not use it. The more I use it now, I see that, you know, I was just in my own head, and like it wasn't really that hard to begin with. But I could understand if someone were to have struggles with the Ram just as much as the Amax, because I think both of them could be very uncontrollable at times if you can't fully control recoil. I will say though, it's a lot more easier to control the Ram recoil, and for casual players, I think it's one of those things that would make them lean towards a Ram over the Amax. But I think the damage overall for the Amax could also be something suitable for those casual players who, you know, really can't hit shots, but if they do hit shots, they'll be rewarded with high damage. But I don't know, man. With those nerfs that the Amax received, it's been making it a little bit less rewarding, even for those bad players. Now it's kind of really every shot counts because that one bullet nerf could make a big difference in a gunfight. And again, I feel like some people have felt that and have made them steer away from the Amax into other guns that, you know, have been buffed recently or just were good from the beginning and, you know, never had a chance against or to come out of the shadows because of the Amax. But again, man, like I mentioned in my last video, just the landscape for primaries is quickly changing, and in 2 weeks we're gonna have a new season where, you know, the landscape could get changed even more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think in 2 weeks we could literally be seeing a new just dominant AR or a new #1 AR. And if they add another AR to the game and that AR is pretty good, like who knows what's gonna happen to just the meta of primaries. And again, I've said this every time, but I'm very curious to see what's gonna happen in season 4. Like, I think right now many people agree with this, but we are probably in the best meta for Warzone secondary and primary, and I think it could get better if they just make every primary AR as good as just each. I don't know, like if they make the situation in primaries as the secondaries the way it is right now, the meta will be literally perfect. Like right now it's really good, but it still has some flaws because the Amax, you know, I'd say over 50% of your lobbies probably use them. So, you know, if it becomes like a solid equal ratio of like, you know, I don't know, 15% of just a lot of ARs or 10% or whatever, you know, then the meta is gonna get crazy, and it's gonna be such a fun game if we're literally killing people and each person that we kill, they have a different loadout or a different AR, or anytime that we play, like every 2 games we're using another AR, because that's how good the variety is. Like, you know, you can argue that you can do it now, but you know, if they ended up buffing things like the AK from Modern Warfare or the Scar, or I don't know what else, maybe the Kilo gets the return, or the QBZ gets like a little buff, you know what I'm saying? Like, just it could get crazy. It could literally get crazy. And not to mention things like the LMG. Like the LMGs could get something that makes them a lot better for primaries. Maybe the tactical. Actually, no, we already felt the tactical rifles pain, so I wouldn't even say that. But yeah, man, the possibilities right now for what's to come, it's crazy to think about. And we have 2 weeks to wait. 2 weeks before things start getting, or could potentially get crazy. I'm not gonna say that things are gonna get crazy. That's just speculation. I don't know. I haven't seen any rumors about what's to come. So I don't really know what may be in this next update or this next season. But I'm really hoping that, you know what I'm saying, I'm hoping that the meta that I'm envisioning comes to truth. Because it would be so fun if every AR or every primary in the game would be just on the same level with each other. And not to mention the secondaries as well, with the added fact that those are like on the same level, or a lot of them are on the same level as each other. And again, man, just I cannot wait because it could get crazy, or maybe not, or maybe it won't get crazy. You know, that'd be fun too. Because again, I think the meta right now isn't bad, or it's really good. Okay, it's really good. Don't play it off like it's not that good, but it's really good. And right now, I think our variety is pretty solid, but I just wish that there was a little bit more variety, especially for the guns that have been underused throughout the whole year that Warzone has been out. But I guess we just have to wait and see. So with that being said, man, let me know what you guys think about the Ram and its current state. Do you consider it to be the best AR, or just in general? What is your personal ranking for the Ram in the current state of Warzone primaries? And yeah, man, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later. I'm out.